Hello everyone, welcome to the Microsoft Certification Bootcamp series. This is Lakshit Pant, your host for today, and today we are going to start our day one of Microsoft Azure Bootcamp with our expert speaker Prashant Chirdesar, who is Microsoft certified trainer, and he has been doing incredible work for the community. His experience in the cloud has been amazing, and this bootcamp he has shown his kind gesture for the community to take his time, precious time to tell you about the incredible guidance on the Microsoft AZ900. This bootcamp will cover the official syllabus offered by the Microsoft for the AZ900 exam. And this is going to be a 3-day journey where we will do some. On the fourth day, we will do some quiz and we will perform some questions over there and the right approach for the exam. So I just not taking much more time. I'll just quickly handle the stage to answer. Before that, I'll just so if anyone or your friend haven't registered for the bootcamp, so I'm dropping the link in the comment section so you can just register for this bootcamp to get the continuous updates and email directly to your inbox. And also, if just do follow the LinkedIn handle of Azure Developer Community, you will be getting regular updates for everything over there. And we have some giveaways scheduled for this bootcamp as well. So stay tuned, guys. Thank you. Over to you, sir. Sir, hello.
Sorry, sorry, I was talking on mute. Might be. Thanks, Lakshit, for good introduction. And as you said, it's everything for the community. So I hope everyone here connected to learn the things, and that comes to the Azure fundamental. And I believe that you guys in a right path. If you are starting your cloud adoption journey to learn the new things and everything, so you started with this basic boot camp for AG 900. So that's the correct path. So I will not take too much time to introduce myself. I will take only two lines about me. Like, my name is Prashant Chide, and I have been working in IT industry from more than 14 years, and I'm continuously working for the community where I'm sharing my knowledge, and I'm helping people to enable their self in their career, so that they can adopt the new technology, and they can rock on the corporate environment. So quickly I will start with this particular session. Just new to this technology, this particular portal where, okay, share screen. Okay, let me share my screen so that, okay, great. So let me share the screen, and I will start with the actual presentation, what we are going to cover and how it will be for entire journey. So we'll start with Azure Fundamentals. So if I now talked about the Azure Fundamentals, so we will start with the cloud concept, what exactly is the cloud, right? If you know about how the cloud technology works, and what the what's the behind that, then definitely you will be get charmed to learn about the technology, as well as to continuously improvement on the to learn the services and the offerings from the Microsoft side. If you don't know about the concept, then definitely there will be some lag in between the to connect with the technology. So we will start with basic. I'm not sure who joined, but I want to make everyone feel on the same page. We'll start with the basic, what are the objective for the this particular module. So we'll start about we will I will explain you about what exactly the cloud computing, and types of the cloud computing, and how that will help us to expedite our solution on the cloud platform, and especially for the Azure. So, here the basic layman terminology for the cloud definition. What exactly the cloud? So the definition said that cloud is, for as per my understanding, cloud is nothing but the data center running on someone else, your resources running on the someone else data center, and that you are consuming that particular data center over the internet. And that's what the Microsoft definition also, you're getting service over the internet that enable you faster innovation, flexible resources, and it's economically beneficial for you. So whatever the word I have highlighted here, that services over the internet. So I will explain all these terms, so that you will be more familiar with this. Like when it's come to services, like as I said, everything whatever the computer resources, like your VM, maybe your web app, or maybe your database, that will be run on the Microsoft data center, and they will manage that. You just able to acquire those resources, and you can build your application on that particular technology. Okay. And when it's come to the faster innovation, just take the example, like if you want, if you're the company, or maybe if you're working for any company, and they want to come up with any product, or maybe that product is based on the your application. Okay. Maybe that's any web application, maybe any consumer selling sites, or any good selling site. Okay. So if you think in the in sense of the on premises, to build all this particular environment, at least it's for the good organization, they have the very good budget and everything, they require at least 6 months to make it available, even if they start with very fastly. And how they can achieve this, like they require the data center, they need to hire the data center, they require the power supply for that particular data center, they require the networking stuffs, and security part, they will put down the hardware part. When I said the hardware part, like your networking racks, your server rack, and they will build that particular server and environment, and then their actual work to develop that particular application will start. But when it's come to the cloud technology, so it's very simple, like you will get all these particular resources within a minute, with a simple 4 5 clicks on the portal. Okay. So that's why it's in a faster innovation, like you just think about, like I required this, and this particular software need to be uh you know produce, or maybe how they are in the market, so that I can acquire the market for my application, and people can consume it. So this is how it will be working once it's come to the your cloud technology. Then the another term that I have discussed here, like flexible resources. Like currently it's in the December month, like everyone all over the globe, it's in the holiday mood, and basically everyone start their shopping, because because of this festival. Maybe people who is from the India, they are celebrating Christmas, as well as they will celebrate the end year. So basically for the there are some kind of application, or maybe service provider, like Amazon or Flipkart, they have the sale. Same way, consider that you have your application, and you required some extra resources for your application to run this kind of sales on your website. But when it will be possible, if you think about in the on premises environment, then you need to purchase all the hardwares and softwares, basically the hardware requirement, you need to purchase that, and you have to manage, and you have to bear the cost for that. But when it's come to the cloud technology, then definitely you have to just scale up your resources. Like right now, if you have the basic configuration, like 8 GB of RAM, and two CPUs and everything, you can just scale it out to the higher environment. You can double it, triple it, until the time you will use it. Then for that particular time, you need to pay it. So that's how the flexible resources concepts comes into the definition of the cloud computing. And when I explain, like till the time you use it, you have to pay it. That's budget friendly for your solution also. So that's how the cloud definition overall, like and in my term, I will just say that the, the cloud computing is nothing but your resources is someone else data center who is responsible to manage it, and you are only responsible to consume it and develop your application, focus on your development of your application and the product. So that's how it's worked. So, like we just gone through the definition, but there are in a cloud computing also, like there has the model. Okay, so there if you talked about the public cloud, so when it's come to the public cloud, there are tons of the provider on the market. They are providing their services on the public cloud. One of the example for this, the Azure one, like that's what the path we are following up, right? The same way, like we have the Amazon, the other also, like Oracle. Maybe you can talk about the Alibaba and everything. But what exactly the public cloud? So public cloud is that provider who will be manage all the underlying resources, like your servers, virtual servers, your virtual networks, and the security regarding to that particular environment. That is something taken care by this provider, and you will just consume their resources over the internet. Okay, that's what the cloud computing. And here the responsibility of to manage this all the resources is the responsibility of your cloud provider. You just need to take care about your application development and your application. There is another cloud that's we call the private cloud. Like in still in the organization, like the pharmaceutical companies, your some banking sector, they don't want to go blindly on the public cloud, because they want their data should be secured. And in today's world, like without the data is it's the backbone of any organization. Or maybe any if even in the small scale industry, the data is the peak point for them, and they would don't want to put down their data on the risks blindly. Yeah, every cloud is secure, but they want to protect their highly classified data by their own. So in that case, this public private clouds come into the picture. What they do the same thing. They will create all the data center, like consider that there is one company, ABC company. They want to have their private cloud. What they will do, rather than putting down the data centers in the regional office, they will combine everything on the centralized location, and they can create the solution for the for your private cloud, where the people who maybe their employees, they will connect over the internet to that particular data center, and whatever the interface they have created, from that particular interface they can create the resources and consume their own data center. That's what the private clouds. So only difference is that public cloud is is the property of the provider, and private cloud is the ownership of the organization. Then hybrid cloud comes into the picture right now. Like even this abc.com, they don't want to put down their highly classified data on the cloud, but parallelly they want to utilize some cloud provider services. Like some are the services, those are very very crucial on the cloud, where when it's come to the adoption part, and to create it and configure it. So for those kind of services, they want to consume the public cloud also. So when it's come, like your private cloud and public cloud interactions come into the picture. For that particular combination, we called as the hybrid cloud. So that you can utilize your own resources also, you can utilize your cloud resources also, public cloud resources also. So that's how it's work in the cloud terms. Like these are the types, like your public cloud, then your private cloud, then hybrid cloud. So what are the we during explanation, I just talked about, like what are those particular resources. Like if you go in the public cloud, so capital expenses and scale up, it's totally based on the provider. But when it's come to the private cloud, you are the responsible, you need to have your hardware. If you want to scale it up, you have to purchase new hardware. That's the only thing you need to keep in mind when it's come to this cloud resources. And after all, everything is going over for the money, like how you can consume the resources but with the minimal cost. That's what the end goal for each and every organization. Even for us, like employee who is working for the organization, they are the SME, maybe, or some architect, or maybe some application developer. They should know that which particular service, if you are utilizing it, what will the cost for us, and how can we can optimize that particular cost. So that's how if you compare between these particular, say, cloud resources, like cloud concept. Okay, so these are the three are the basically you will heard in your entire cloud journey, of where you are supporting, maybe creating, or providing the solution for the organization. uh, all these terms comes into the picture, so you should know that, like these are the these many are available over there. When it's come to the benefits of the cloud, why we need to utilize the cloud. Okay, if you, like, in the cloud, you will get the high availability, because Microsoft spread their data center across the globe. So they have the reachability for at least 140 countries. Okay, and they have that's much of the data center, where if you have solution, you require the high availability. So in that case, they have the pay region. If some primary region goes down, so you have the solution to fall back your overall traffic to the paid region where your DR is running, and your application will be served all over the time. So zero downtime you will be get here. Not exactly zero, but compared to the on-premises thing, if something goes down, if your entire site your data center get flooded, so in that case, your application will be down for maybe days, 2 or month, if you don't have the DR. But if when it's come to the cloud, you will get the high availability. Just you need to pick the correct resources, and you have to place it according to that. Yeah, we also talked about the scalability option also. You can scale up your resources by any time, and you can down it when your purpose is over. Like for the peak time, you can also auto scale your resources also. Like, considering that I can fix out some threshold for my resources, and if the traffic reach to that particular threshold, my system will be automatically get scale up in that way, so that whatever the traffic reaching to my application, that will not interrupt to my to my services that what I'm providing. You will get the good disaster recovery, like if you can recover your entire, like in case of you are in the hybrid journey of your cloud adoption. So in that case, like, you can do the disaster recovery of your on premises to directly on the cloud, and that's what the native solution Microsoft provide for you. You have the fault tolerance for the your application. There are alerting, and everything is already native services are there. You can just pick that service, configure according to you, so that you will get overall things in one bucket. On top of that, you will get extra security, like you, as in for particular services, you need to adhere for some services, and have your security on top of that. But to manage all this, their Azure data center, Microsoft has their own security equipment already in place, so that can help out to secure their data center. And side by side, we will get the benefits of their solution to protect our data center also, because we are consuming their resources on their data center, right? So that's what the benefit of the cloud computing. This term, like capex and opex, that's very important when it's come to the cloud, and every organization moving to the cloud because of this expenditure, like where and how much I am going to spend. Where, and if I talk about what is the capital expenditure, So capital expenditure in Azure terminology, or maybe in the cloud terminology, if you say whatever the physical hardware you are going to procure for your data center, that is your capital expenses. Like your data center, your racks in the data center, then your servers and the storage equipment, the storage devices and network devices, routers, switches, everything, that is your capital expenditure. And when it's come to the operation expenses, what are the operational expenses? Operation expenses, if I talked about the cloud services, like I have to run my application on the cloud. Okay, so for that particular application, I required one web app server, maybe one VM where I can put down the IS services. So to run that particular application, whatever the resources I'm going to utilize for that particular or maybe period, what period I am going to utilize those particular resources, I need to pay for those time period. So that's my expenses based on my consumption. So in all the in Azure terminology, we called as pay as you go. Whatever you use, you have to pay for that. Whatever the time you use, you have to pay for that particular time period. That's how your billing is configured, and you will be billed for the consumption base. So just make sure that what is the capex and opex in terms of the cloud technology. So let's discuss about cloud services. What are the cloud services that are there? Might be someone already aware about this, and if people are not aware about this, so we will go through all these things, like what is the IaaS, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, identity service types based on the use cases, because there are lots of identity provider in the market. You can choose according to your use cases and everything. Like share responsibility model, when it's come to the acquiring the cloud resources on the from the Azure side, what are the share what are the share responsibility, what you are going to be managed from your side, and what cloud provider manage from their side. We will talk about that. And serverless computing, what are the serviceless computing that we can discuss. So let's go one by one. What is the infrastructure as a service? Where, like infrastructure, you just discuss or maybe think about, like what is the infrastructure? My hardware, where my VMs were running, right? That's the infrastructure. When it's come to the cloud terminology, what's the infrastructure part? So your virtual machine is your infrastructure. If you want to build something on the virtual machine, then that comes into the IaaS. If you want to run your web app server on the IS, your SQL database maybe, or Mongo database, or any databases available on the market. If you want to run it on the virtual machine, you are going to install it and configure it. Then it will be called as the IS based solution. Okay, so IS is pretty much clear. Like whatever the service running on the cloud, and you're installing it and configuring it by your own, that's the part of the IaaS based thing. For that configuration, you're creating the network and everything, then it will be the part of the IaaS based service. Okay, the next is the platform based service. Like what is the PaaS service? Like the way we talked about the IaaS service, the same way when it's come to the, like, your hardware part of your VM and everything, what are the configuration? Take example, like you required the database server. So your operating system, the installation of your databases is taken care by the PaaS platform. Okay, the owner of the provider. Okay, in our case, Azure will create a predefined sets of the services where you will get the base operating system, your databases get installed and everything. Just you have to consume that particular resources. So that's called as the PaaS service, where you are getting platform, database platform, where you just create your one database and push your data into that database. Same way, when it's come to the application as a service, So platform as a service, where the application you are going to know. So the app service comes into the picture, where you will get the all platform ready. You just need to write down your code and deploy it on the app service, so your application will be available over the or the app, and you can make it internal or maybe public based on your requirement. So where you will get the platform, ready platform to build your solution. So for that matter, you can consider those things as a platform as a service. And the next one is your software as a service, where you will get entire software. And the best example for this is your Microsoft Office 365. You can say the Outlook email that you are going to utilize, and your calendar services that is already integrated with the Microsoft Outlook. So these are the services that comes like as a solution and a software that you can utilize for your own purpose, where we for those kind of resources we called as software as a service. When it's come to the share model, so this is very interesting thing, and you should know that, like, it's in your fundamental journey, so you should aware about that. When all these models are there, like you have the IIS, you have SaaS, you have the PaaS services, and in entire this particular resources, what you are going to manage and what your provider is going to be managed. So if you see here in the first block, like SaaS as a service, we will come from on premises side, so I can explain it, and you will be understood it in very simple way. If something is there in your on premises, okay, your data center, your VMs, your network devices, your security part, the physical security, as well as the securities for your application and data center, that is the cyber security, that everything we need to manage, right? When it's come to the on premises. Now if you slightly move on to the cloud, where you are utilizing the IaaS services. So in this particular IaaS services, where what we are trying to do, we are creating the virtual machine on that, on top of that particular virtual machine. We are like while creating the virtual machine, we are deciding which operating system I need to utilize, where I am deciding what software I am going to be installed. Is it that particular virtual machine is going to serve for the uh, database server as an web app server, or maybe my Tomcat server, or maybe something out of the box solution that you have created. So I am deciding what need to be what layer I am going to be configured and what I am going to put. So in that case, so it's when it's come to physical data center, that is totally taken care by the Microsoft. Okay. Then your physical network and the physical host, that is taken care by the Microsoft. When it's come to our operating system that we are choosing, so we are going to manage it. We are choosing what application we are going to install, then we are responsible to manage it, because Microsoft don't know what we are going to do with that particular VM, right? So whatever the things we are configuring on this particular VMs, so those are our responsibility to manage it. So Microsoft will just handle the underlying hardware, and whatever the on top of that particular hardware we are going to install, that's our responsibility to manage it. So slightly we will move on to PaaS services. So when it's come to the PaaS services, so on the PaaS services, Microsoft has their own defined solution already on the place. Okay. So Microsoft deciding that I do have my hardware, I do have my the network, my host is there, I'm choosing the what operating system I'm going to be utilize, and what application that you need to be run. So runtime you can define over there. So what will be my runtime for that particular services? Take the example of the app services, where I'm going to deploy my web application. So if I'm writing down in the Java, so I can pick the Java runtime. Okay. And I can develop the application based on the Java language. Okay. So runtime you are defined, so it's partially the things are defined. Runtime you can choose it, and Microsoft will be deploy it on that particular solution. But here, you have to write down your code also. But if there in glitch in between your code and your runtime, then this responsibility is shared between the Microsoft, and happily on the Microsoft, half side on your side. Okay, where you can raise the ticket with the Microsoft saying that I'm utilizing the web app service where I have the runtime Java, but somehow your whatever the runtime you have installed on your application, means your solution, that is not working for me. So they can help you out if something goes wrong from their side. If something wrong in your code, they can guide you, like there is no blocker from their side, or maybe there is blocker from their side, you need to do these changes. If they don't have any blocker, they clearly said that we don't have any blocker, maybe this and these logs we are getting from our system for your this application. You can work on that, so you will get to know that where the glitch is that. So this kind of shared resources, shared responsibility comes into the picture. But apart from this, like your data and your application development and everything, that is your responsibility. So Microsoft will be there for in the past services till the time the run till the time of runtime and everything that get installed on the past service. Apart from that, we have to manage it. And when it's come to the your software as a service, in a software as a service, what exactly happened? Your software is already configured, and they are delivered to serve you, right? But the only thing is that, when take the example of email. So whatever the data email that you're coming in your inbox, and whatever you're sending it, whatever the calendar things that you are going to be managed, that's your responsibility. Other things is totally taken care by your provider. So that's how this model, like SaaS, what the SaaS model, until what level we have to manage it, and where the Microsoft will be manage as in terms of the provider. Same way for the PaaS and SaaS also. So let's move toward the one step further, where we will discuss about the core services. Because we discuss about the what's the cloud, about the type of the cloud, and what are the service model and everything. Now we will focus on the core services. What are the core services and everything. So before reaching out the core services, we need to think about Azure architect component, how they have configured their data center, how their data center connecting with each other. And most importantly part is that how we can consume the data center. What are the the point that we need to keep in our mind before we are putting down any solution on the cloud. So we'll start with Azure regions, like Azure. What exactly the region for the Azure? Okay, so Azure region is nothing but the collection of the multiple data center. It may be one, two, or three data center in the in approximately close to each other. That's we called as a region. So Microsoft has around 60 region all over the globe, and that covering the 140 countries all over the globe. Okay, where they have their data center, and they are serving from them. And if you see in this particular diagram, if you see here, so they have the first this if you see this ball, like uh, blue ball with the dark blue, where what they have indicating that that's the region available, and they are serving and people have their databases, or maybe their resources on that particular region. That's a fully functional region. Then we have the region that is announced but not at present, or maybe serving for the consumption of that particular data center, where we can put down our resources and consume that particular data center. But down the line, you can think about that I do have my data center some site, and um, I have data center, but it's too far from my end users, right? My user base is somewhere else, but I don't have the data center near to my location. That's why I put down somewhere else. Like if right now I'm in Pune, like, but currently I don't have any data center near to my places. So in that case, what are the data center available for the Microsoft, like Chennai, Bangalore, I can put down there. But when the data center going to, if Microsoft announce the data center, like we are going to have our data center in maybe in Pune or maybe in Mumbai, so that is very closest for me, right? So in that case, we need to think about when we are adopting the cloud journey on the Azure. We need to continuously see that where the Microsoft is going to announce their data center if something is not near to you. And third point, if you see here, like availability zone. So availability zone is that where they have the extra solution for your uh, latency, for your pairing region, then for the high availability. And if you see that that's mostly if you see, like where the Microsoft started earlier their data center, east us 2, your west us, then your central us, then you have the Japan east, we have the Israel Central, and then here we have the for the Asia we have the Southeast Asia. We have this kind of data center where we will get the little bit extra feature compared to this availability region base. Okay, so where if want to be my application is critical for me, and I want the high availability for that, I required the low latency and most throughput out of that. So in that case, I can think about the paired region where I will get what, and according to that we need to choose that particular region for our resources. So while if you are now, if you are adopting the cloud technology and Azure technology, and if you are the part of going to be forward or part of that particular team and everything, so you need to think in that way, like where I will keep my database and everything. That's why this region understanding you should be have in your knowledge base, so that you will be aware about that, yes, I need to do this and this, and that will be helpful for me to spin up my resources, and whatever the my user base, they can easily access that particular resources. Then it's come to the pair region. We already know, I talked about the pair region in the earlier explanation, like when it's come to the pair region, like every region has, not in every, almost region, those are mostly available and mostly consumed by the customer. They have the pair region, so that they have the direct connectivity in between these two data centers regions, where where they have fiber optic and low latency based things, like where you required some services, like take the example of SQL. You required the SQL and you required the DR for that, maybe active sync you required on the another region. So to achieve that, you should be available on the region, and your DR should be on your paid region, where they have the latency. So whatever the copy is going to be happen for your data, that is continuously getting added in your primary region, that will be replicated to your secondary side, that's in the pay region. So always keep in mind, whenever you are going to create any kind of DR, you can put down your resources on the paid region. That's the main thing that you need to be keep in mind, because you will get the direct connectivity in between these two data center, and there will be no less data loss when it's come to any disaster. Okay, so keep in mind, uh, your primary side, whatever the primary side you are going to be decide, you should have your secondary side, secondary environment in the paired region. Now we will discuss about the availability set. Okay, so this is very important things when we are putting down our infra on the Azure. Okay, just think, like you can you have created the VMs and everything on the Azure, and somehow their data center goes down, or maybe their one data center goes down, their one building power supply maybe down, their network will be down. So in that case, what will be happen to your side, or maybe that's the crucial time for your application, where traffic is coming and reaching to your website and consuming your application, right? So Microsoft already created the system or the solution for that. That's we call the availability set. So in what exactly they will do, if you're putting down your solution based on the IIS based solution, and you're have your application, or maybe you have two or three VMs, those are serving your application. In that case, what when you create the availability set and put down your VM in that particular availability set, so Microsoft will divide that VM based on the your update domain and fault domain. So let's discuss about what exactly the update domain and fault domain. We discuss about fault domain, like something get failure on your database, data center side, maybe your power supply, cooling, your network, if it is down, or maybe they want to do the some upgradation for this kind of resources, like your rack they have to manage, they have to scale their environment also. So something fault things comes into the picture, they will pick out one fault domain at a time to choose it. And when you create your VMs and you put down into the availability set, so Microsoft place those VMs in the two different fault domain, and accordingly to different update domain also. So if in case any power supply in this virtual machine is not able to respond to the query for your application, so you don't need to be worried, because your another machine is in the same data center, but it's totally separated with the underlying hardware. When I said the underlying hardware, the same thing, the power supply for that particular rack, the networking component, and the cooling system, these are the underlying hardware for the data centers. So your another virtual machine will be on the another fault domain. So and that machine will be serve the purpose of your application. Okay. And what if when Microsoft want to update their software? Okay, the same way they will pick one update domain at a time. They will whatever the update domain, they will pick that update domain, they will install whatever they want to install or update their software. And once this particular update completed, they will move to the another update domain. That's how the model will be work. So that even your back end of your application, where it has two three virtual machine, those are serving the purpose where the traffic coming, and these VMs are providing the resources throughout that application. So if one is goes down, then whatever the VM available in the another availability set, that will be serve your application. So now this is limited to your data center, like I do have this availability set, update domain, fault domain in one data center, where I have put down the racks and everything, where I'm managing it. But what like if this particular data center totally went down, then what about your services? Even like you have the availability set and everything. So maybe if you have with only one data center, then there will be no resolution till the time this particular sites comes up, then your application will be served. But if you configure your application in the availability zone, then you have to option, like if your entire data center will be down, so your other resources will be available on the other zone of that particular region, so that they can serve your application. So let's discuss about what exactly is that availability zone. The whatever the configuration that we have seen in the first single site, your update domain, fault domain, same configuration available on the other sites of the zone. Like you have data center in zone 1, and second is your zone 2. So whenever you configure the zone availability for your application, so that time what at backgroundly, when your resources get created, Microsoft distribute those resources across this availability zone. So in that case, your entire data center one zone goes down, whatever the resources available on the another zone, they will be uh, you know serve the purpose of your application. Like request comes for your application, your data center goes down, it will redirect your traffic to the another region where your availability zone available, and you have configured that for your application. That's how it's work. So when it, like simply, like, if you have to be stick to the one data center, and you don't require any high availability, so you can go with an availability set, and you can configure everything in the within that particular data center. But if your application is very critical, and you required a less, very less downtime, that in that case you can go for the availability zone for your resources. You can put down in the availability zone 1, 2, or 3, whatever you want to be according to your key use case, and you can make your resources available all the time. So availability option, it has the SLAs and everything, like even when it's come to the single VM and everything, till the time that that particular site is up, you will get 99.9% of the SLA for that particular site. But when it's come to the availability zone, where if you have this solution, but if you didn't configure, then forget about this SLA and everything. But if you acquire this particular option where you have the VMs and VMs, or maybe any solution where you put down your resources across the availability zone, then definitely you will get good kind of availability and a good SLA, where one side goes down, then another side will serve your application and everything. Even the same way it will be have in the multi-region disaster recovery also, like if your application running somewhere, you can move it to the another disaster recovery part, like if you have the data center somewhere running on premises, and if you configure the disaster recovery services on the Azure for that, so you can move those services to the another region on the Azure side, so that you can up your business from there. Okay, let's now we'll discuss about what exactly the Azure resources are. So, like, what are the component that you are going to create in the Azure, that will be your Azure resources. Doesn't matter, it should be it should be your VM, it should be your storage, it should be your application, web app, or maybe databases, or maybe you can call it as resource group. It also one kind of resource in the Azure resources. So we have lots of the resources, and this we have picked out of this, those are mostly used in the in day to day life. Now let's discuss about the resource group. What exactly the resource group? Whatever the resources now we have discussed, to put down that particular resource, we create one container. Okay, in that particular container, maybe we can put down VM, maybe we can create one web app, maybe we can put down the network, or so that on putting down this or the resources that within the container, we can call that container as a resource group. This is how it is. Like, why we need to create the resource group and everything, because Azure is ARM based, and it has the ability to manage the resources based on that, so that you can define the resource group, and where we can put down, so that we that way we can manage it very well. Okay, and we can define the life cycle of that particular resource group, like till what time we required the resource, and how often we can create it and everything. And once you start exploring everything, you will say everywhere is the resource group, and we are putting down the resources on that particular resource group. Even if you are going to create a single resource, the primary requirement from the Azure, like you should have your subscription, and you have to define your resource group. Yeah, so that's how this structure is defined, and we have to adhere that. Without that resource group, we cannot create any resource, because we cannot put down the resource blindly anywhere. It should have the proper structure. Now let's, why the resource group? And why they know Azure Resource Manager? Because it has the SDK. So what exactly it will do? If you see here, like Azure, earlier Azure has the classic version of Azure, where you can define the resources anywhere and how you want to be. But when it's come when the classic there also resource group was there, but the SDK part was not there. Okay, so now that was not available for us to utilize that, expose that SDK and create the resources based on the our infra as a code. So what here is the structure, like Microsoft, whatever the things that you are going to hit to your subscription, it will go through the Azure Resource Manager. So what it has, it SDK, where you have the tons of the option available in the uh, and then a portal side. You can create your resources from the portal. You can create your resources using the PowerShell, Azure CLI, or REST client. Okay, whatever the way you want to create, you can create it. On top of that, it will hit to the SDK, and it will get the authentication with this CLI, and it will create your resources that you want to create it. Okay, this is how the it's work. And this is all these are the options are the cloud native. Even if you want to create the your resources using the infra as a code by using Bicep, the native one from the Microsoft, maybe Terraform, Shape, Puppet, Ansible, the flow will be same. They will go through the Azure Resource Manager, where all your code converted into the JSON in terms of the Azure Resource Manager template format, and it will create the resources for you. So that's why to manage everything, that's why we require the Azure Resource Manager, and uh, we create the resources based on that SDK. Now we discuss about the cloud, we discuss about the cloud concept, and we discuss about the what are the data center and everything. But now we are landing into the main part, where the basic requirement to create or consume the cloud, Azure cloud, is that your subscription. So subscription, what exactly is the subscription? Subscription is nothing but it will define your boundaries and your access control for your for your environment. So that when you create your own subscription, so you will get only subscription, but Microsoft going to manage it. But when it's come to the enterprise subscription, where you will get the get one resource, the Azure account. That account is responsible for paying the bill and everything. And what are the subscription you are going to create, that will be the part of that particular account. So subscription is just only for the boundaries where the billing parts come into the picture, and where your company's policies and everything that you are going to apply, where it's come into the picture. But the main purpose of subscription is for Microsoft. I'm talking in terms of the Microsoft, for the billing. Like, or even it's come, when it's come to you also, it's for the billing purpose only. How you can manage the resources, and which particular subscription belongs to which team, which is it belongs to the local IT team, maybe application team. And even within the organization there are multiple teams, those are going to utilize these Azure resources, right? Where they require the subscription, and whatever the resources they are going to create within that particular subscription, so whatever the bill get charged for that particular subscription, they that will be that will be the responsibility of that particular team to have their that budget in their annual budget, where they can consume that resources and pay the bill for that. So if I talk about this resources, like as I said, you have the Azure account, the main account, uh, with the enterprise agreement, you will have that one. Then you will create subscription, maybe your dev subscription, your test subscription, production. Okay, and under that particular subscription you will get the billing option, and that billing will, you can define on based on the tagging and everything. It is depend on you how what the solution you are going to utilize. But subscription is the main part. And when I already told you, like when you want to create any resources, you required two basic things. One is subscription, that anyhow you required, and once you have the subscription, you have, or maybe you have to create the resource group where you are going to create any resource. Okay, so let's move on to the Azure. What's the Azure portal? We will see, because we have 4 5 minutes, so I quickly move through the how Azure portal looks like and what option where we will get. Okay, and then we will discuss about this management. Let me discuss about this management group. This is very interesting topic. Then we can move on to the Azure portal tour. Okay, so whatever the things that you are going to create in the your subscription and everything. Okay, this management group is the responsible where we can apply the rules and regulations of your organization. So in that case, what will be the structure of your subscription? First of all, your management groups comes into the picture. Under that particular management group, you can add the subscriptions. Maybe you can create one or more management group, like one for the non-prod, prod, and BUT, and what are the subscription you have for the development environment. You can put down for the in the non-prod management group, and respect to for the prod and BUT, so that whatever the policies you are going to be apply on this particular management group, that get inherited to this particular resources. When I said the underlying resources, it will comes, that policy will be inherited to your subscription, it will be inherited to your resource group and your resources also. That's how you can manage the all the required policies as per the rules and regulation of your organization, and you can apply it based on the management group level. So we'll move on to the portal where we can see how the portal looks like, and I hope everyone excited about that. So if you landed on the Azure subscription, maybe you will land somewhere like this. Once you logged in, you will get your home page where your Azure services comes, and whatever the recent resources that you have utilized, that will visible for you. So we was discussing about the resources, compute resource, network resource, and everything. So if you click on this particular hamburger, so you will get the option like this is your home page. Okay, that you configure. You can also create your dashboards. Dashboard help you out, like whatever the resources you want to pin to your dashboard, that you frequently utilizing it, rather than going and searching for that particular resources. You can pin it to your dashboard, and that can help you out to quickly access those resources. Then your all services, this is the most important part where we was discussing. So like in any cloud computer, or maybe in a computer, it has the core resources, like it has the compute. Even you can take the example of your laptop, or maybe PC that you're using, right? It has the basic component. Compute means your laptop. Then it has the network, where your network card and everything, where you're connecting to the internet. It has the storage, right? So we'll look into this core component of these cloud services. If I click on the compute, so in compute we have the virtual machine, we have the virtual machine skill set, we have the container based solution, like Kubernetes and availability set, and everything that comes into the compute department. When I talked about the networking, so how the networking component, what are the networking component are available on the cloud, you will be able to see this particular on this particular page. Same way for the storage, and same ways for your databases. What are the database solution, native database solution, or maybe on top of that solution that you want to be took it, that's there in the marketplace, but the native things that will be appear here. So you will get all the services related things in that particular all service tab. And if you see here this little gear or icon, where you can manage your subscription, and you can manage your directory, whatever the directory that you have, that you can manage it from here. Then how you want to see the portal, right? So now I am using the dark theme. But if you can just apply the Azure theme, so it will be look like it. So you can customize your view also, like depend on what, like what most preferred way you can choose it for you. And that's way you can that's way you can look into the screen that's comfortable for you. Now if you want to search for any resources, so you can click here. And if I want to search for the virtual machine, so if I type here virtual machine, so you this particular bar, we search bar, we called it as a global search. Okay, so whatever the resources and subscription you have, it will search in all the resources and all the subscription that you have the permission. So if I click on the virtual machine, so it will show you then what are the virtual machine currently available on the subscription where you have the permission. Okay, that's more important. The same way, if you want to create any new things also, again take the example of virtual machine. You just need to type here, and you will be landed into this particular page where the virtual machine you can create. Here you will get option like create button, so you can create the virtual machine. And that's the way you can configure it for the all the services. You just need to type the service name here, and that the service will be appear, and you can create and configure it. Same way, if I talk about on the Azure portal, the basic things, if I want to be the cloud shell, this is very important when it's come to the portal. Like you should aware about, like if you want to create some resources using the Azure CLI, or maybe using the PowerShell and everything, and you don't have the configuration on your own system, so you can utilize this cloud shell, where you will get required software that can manage your resources. So you can log in into this cloud shell. It will give you the option, one base solution where you can write down your small script and define it for your application. You can spin the resources, or you can manage, create, delete, whatever you want to do with your Azure resources, you can do it. I hope that's it for today. We covered the basic concept and everything. And quickly, practical part, if I see, like we have spent this much of time, so at least we can create a small resource group today, so that from tomorrow we can create the other way. So to create a resource group from the portal, you have to type here resource group, or maybe you can navigate to the resource group, and then you have to click here for to create the resource group. Okay, you have to click the subscription that I am telling from the beginning, like two things required for creating the resources. Okay, for resource group, it's something different, like you required at least subscription. Then you can type the resource group name. I will type here, let me type my name also, just. And you have to click here, select the resource location where you want to put down this particular resource. So in that way, you can you can define the location for your resource. You just need to select that location, then click on the review. Once review, it will validate your configuration, everything, and then you need to click on the create button, so that it will start creating the resource group for you. So here I have created this particular resource group. Okay, so now you can create another resources under this particular resource group the way you want. Yeah, so that's it for today, guys. And tomorrow we will discuss about the core services, how we can create the virtual machine, how we can create again the resource group and the network and everything. And similarly, we can see, I'm telling you, even it is the basic core fundamental, you will get lots of out of this particular course, because we can guide in, we can plan in that way. We are going to create the resources from the portal, as well as I will tell you like how we can create the resources using the Terraform also, where we can deploy the resources using the Terraform. So that's it for today, guys. So let me stop the sharing, and I will hand it over to Lakshit. Lakshit, you there?
Yes, sir. I'm right over here. So, hello everyone. Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you for giving some awesome introduction to Microsoft Azure in the cloud. The PPT and your explanation was superb. And we have some questions. So let's go with some questions. I'll be sharing some questions with you. So
Yeah, sure.
Just can we scale the, like we have some question. Can we scale it vertically or horizontally? We have this question
Like,
from Pratik.
depend on the solution, what solution you are utilizing. If you are utilizing the VM skill set, we can do in both way.
Yeah, and the next question we have from Ghazi. He is asking, can you give some example of public, private, and hybrid clouds?
Yeah, if I talk about public cloud, like when it's come to the public cloud, Azure is your public cloud, Amazon is your public cloud, then Alibaba is your public cloud. These are the public cloud provider. And when it comes to the private cloud, so maybe in any organization, like if I am the organization, I'm running my organization cloudskillsup.com, then I do have my own public cloud, private cloud over there. I can put down the resources over there, and I can utilize, ask my employees to utilize those resources for the highly critical data that I want to keep with myself. And hybrid cloud, like where I want to utilize the public cloud, like Azure, and I want to utilize my cloud also. So that's the fusion of both resources where this can interact with each other. I hope it's clear.
Yeah, so I hope that's clear, Ghazi. So we have, yeah, some question. One people is asking, he's asking about how we can just get started with building with Azure.
Sorry, your voice is.
Hi, I'm really sorry, maybe my internet. Yeah, so he's asking, how do we integrate Azure into our applications, and does it cost or also has some free tiers or something like this?
So, like when it's come to the public cloud, nothing is free. Even they said cheap. If you utilize it in a very good way, then maybe it's you can control your cost. But when it's come to the public cloud, everything is chargeable. Even your public IPs also get charged. Okay, integration and everything. Yeah, that's we are going to discuss in upcoming session where how we can integrate and everything. So I will suggest you to be stay tuned for the next our session where we can explain about it.
Absolutely. So Linux Mint is asking, are there any credits?
Yeah, like
Okay.
credit. If you're talking about the free subscription, so yes, there is a credit. Like you can when you register for the free subscription, then they will give you around $300 for 1 month that you can utilize within that 1 month. And some services, those are free entirely for the year. Okay, but make sure that you just go through the details, which are the services. And I will suggest you, like if you are creating this particular subscription for your learning purpose, whatever the resources you are going to create, destroy it once you're done with your practical, because it gets charged and you have only $300 in the free credits, and that you have to utilize it very carefully.
Share some more, ways to get your Azure credits. So, and my voice is right.
Any more questions?
Yeah. Okay. So we have, so on the credits part, I can just add some more things, like as you all are students, so you can just utilize GitHub Student Developer Pack. So there you get $100 free credits. So you can just utilize those credits in order to build something in and around Azure. And also Microsoft Azure also offers some free tiers for the students. I'm sharing the every link in the comment section. You can check out these links and explore. So the here you have only 100 credits. You can just start with 100 credits and build around it. And you have plus, as Prashant has already mentioned, there are some free services. And never forget to, if you are making some virtual machine, never forget to terminate it or maybe close it, because otherwise we'll get lots of bills over there and dollars, and it would be not good for you, for the students specifically. So yeah, that's it. If anyone has any other questions, please let us know in the comment section. Otherwise, so the I have some surprise for you all. So we have some giveaway. So in this giveaway, we are going to give some free Azure credits to you all. not the all who will be. So this is the giveaway link. I'm sharing the LinkedIn link over here. All you need to do is to comment down like what you have learned from today's session from Prasant sir. You're all learning that Prasant sir gave to you all about the Azure Cloud, about ISPSS, and whatever you got to learn through this incredible bootcamp, incredible session from Prasant sir. You need to comment it down in this LinkedIn post so that people can see, yeah, you're learning something. I've already shared the link in the comment section. Just comment down your learnings from today's bootcamp, and I'll pick some random winners for this for the day one, and let's see who wins some more Azure credits, guys. So this is a giveaway link that I already shared. So don't worry about the credits. Or Azure Developer Community has got you covered. So just be practical and keep building something around Azure. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
even
thank you,
you
sir.
have any other question, you can get in touch with Lakshit or people from our community. You can connect to the everyone on the LinkedIn. So whatever the question you have, you can ask in private chat, so that you will get everyone is on the LinkedIn and any professional platform. Everyone is there to help you out to community. So take the advantage of that. But even keep in mind, like don't come with your solution or ask for someone to troubleshoot on the live scenario. Just conceptual things you can ask to everyone, and anyone can answer you.
Yeah, so I have shared the Prashant sir's link, though I have already shared it in your mail, but I have also shared your Prashant sir's email ID in the comment section, so you can just connect with him and don't ever spam like, sir, I'm getting this small errors for this, because I have seen people, DMing like, I'm not able to troubleshoot this. As Prashant sir already mentioned, just try to be more genuine with your doubts. And yeah, we are here for continuously 3 days, so you can ask your doubts in between the session as well. So thank you, sir. Thank you for your time. That's it for the day, guys. And thank you, sir. Thank you for giving your time. Thank you, everyone, those who listened to Prashant, sir, very consciously. It was really great to have you all here, and it's my pleasure to host you all. And absolutely, you too. It's my pleasure to host you, sir. So thank you, sir. Let's meet tomorrow, and don't forget to share your learnings for today's session in the LinkedIn post. I'll be picking some random winners from that LinkedIn post. Let's see who gets some Azure credit. So thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks guys, and happy learning. Bye bye.
Yeah, happy learning, guys. Thank you.